Good day, everyone. Today we will be looking at some violations cops always do. Step out of the car. Why am I being stopped, officer? Don't worry about that right now. Hand me your phone. Then another officer walks to your passenger side and says, "You don't mind if we take a quick look inside, right?" Your heart starts racing. You didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly you feel trapped, pressured, confused. And this is the moment where thousands of people accidentally give up their rights every single day. Not because they're guilty, because they panic. So what do you say when you believe police are violating your rights? Do you argue? Do you refuse everything? Do you stay silent? Every video here could save you from a serious mistake one day. Subscribe now so you don't miss what could protect you. Then share this video and drop your opinion below. I want to hear what you think. Or is there a smarter way to protect yourself without making the situation worse? Here's the truth most people learn too late. The roadside is not the courtroom. You do not win the argument during the stop. And one emotional sentence can give officers exactly what they need. One careless movement can escalate the encounter. One nervous explanation can turn into evidence. But there are specific phrases that help protect you legally while still showing you are not resisting. And today, you're going to learn exactly what those phrases are, why they matter, and how to use them calmly under pressure. Because if an officer crosses the line, your goal is not to beat the police in that moment. Your goal is to avoid making the situation worse while protecting your future legal defense. First, understand the biggest mistake people make when they think their rights are being violated. They start arguing law on the street. "Officer, you can't do that. That's unconstitutional. I know my rights." Now, technically, maybe you're correct, but legally correct and strategically smart are not always the same thing during a police encounter. The officer already has physical control of the situation. Arguing aggressively usually does three things. It raises tension, it gives officers more statements to document, and it sometimes creates excuses for escalation. That does not mean you surrender your rights. It means you protect them differently. Instead of arguing, use calm, controlled language. Say this: "I am not resisting, but I do not consent." That sentence matters because every word has a purpose. "I am not resisting" tells the officer you are not physically interfering. That can reduce claims that you were combative or threatening. "But I do not consent" protects you from accidentally giving legal permission. A lot of people don't realize this, but police often rely on consent searches. Not warrants, not court orders, consent. And consent is often obtained through pressure, confusion, or nervous cooperation. An officer might say, "You don't mind if I check real quick, right?" Or, "If you've got nothing to hide, why not let us search?" That is psychological pressure, and many people panic and say, "Sure, go ahead." The moment you consent, you may weaken later arguments about the legality of the search. So instead, stay calm and say, "Officer, I do not consent to any searches." Notice what that phrase does not say. It does not insult the officer. It does not physically block them. It does not challenge them to a fight. You are verbally refusing permission while remaining calm. That distinction matters. Now, here's another major trap: talking too much. People think they can explain themselves out of danger, so they keep talking and talking and talking. "I was only there because my friend, I didn't know that was illegal. I had one drink, but I'm totally fine." Every extra sentence creates possible evidence, inconsistencies, or misunderstandings. When officers ask questions, many are gathering information, not helping you. And once you realize the encounter may become criminal or investigative, your safest move often is silence. That brings us to one of the most important phrases in any police encounter. "I exercise my right to remain silent." Not just silence by itself, actually saying it. This is critical because courts have sometimes treated simple silence differently from clearly invoking the right. So say it directly and calmly. I exercise my right to remain silent. Then stop talking. Not halfway stop, actually stop. Do not fill the silence because it feels uncomfortable. Silence feels awkward. That's normal. But nervous talking destroys legal defenses every day. Now, let's talk about another dangerous moment. You ask, "Am I being detained?" And the officer ignores the question. A lot of people immediately become aggressive after that. Bad move. Instead, calmly repeat, "Am I free to go or am I being detained?" This phrase forces legal clarity, because there is a difference between a consensual encounter and a detention. If you are free to go, you may be able to end the interaction. If you are detained, different legal standards apply. But notice the key here. You are asking, not declaring, not yelling, not storming away. And if the officer says you are detained, do not physically resist, even if you believe the detention is illegal. That part is extremely important. Many people destroy their own case by resisting first and arguing legality later. The safer approach is usually this: comply physically, challenge legally later. Because the courtroom is where unlawful police conduct gets examined, not the side of the road at midnight. Now let's address phones. This catches people constantly. An officer says, "Unlock your phone for me," or "Let me see your messages real quick." People panic and immediately comply because phones feel personal and pressure feels intense. But your phone may contain massive amounts of private information: photos, messages, banking, location history, contacts. So if you do not want to give access, say clearly, "I do not consent to a search of my phone." Again, calm voice, no sudden movements, no grabbing the phone aggressively, and no deleting things during the stop. That can create entirely separate legal problems. Now, depending on the situation, police may still seize the phone or pursue warrants. Laws can vary based on jurisdiction and facts, but your job is to avoid voluntarily giving up rights through panic. Another mistake people make is confusing compliance with consent. These are not always the same thing. If an officer orders you out of the vehicle, physically resisting is usually a terrible idea. You can comply while still preserving your objection. That's why this phrase matters. I am complying under protest. I do not consent. That statement may help show later that your cooperation was not voluntary permission. Again, wording matters, tone matters, body language matters. Do not make fast movements. Do not reach suddenly into pockets or waistbands. Tell officers what you are doing before moving. "My wallet is in my back pocket. I'm reaching for my registration." Simple communication reduces danger for everybody involved. Now, here's something people almost never think about. Many officers are trained to continue conversations after you invoke silence. You might hear, "If you didn't do anything wrong, why won't you talk to us?" Or, "This is your chance to explain." That is another pressure point, and many people break silence because they want to appear cooperative. But invoking your rights is not evidence of guilt. So if questioning continues, repeat calmly, "I want to speak to a lawyer." This is powerful because requesting counsel can trigger stronger constitutional protections during custodial interrogation situations. And once again, the key is consistency. Don't say you want a lawyer and then continue casually chatting. That weakens the protection. Say it clearly, then stop answering investigative questions. Now let's cover attitude. Some viewers hear all this and think the goal is to own the cops. That mindset can get people hurt. This is not about ego. This is not about humiliating officers. This is about staying safe and legally protected. So avoid sarcasm, avoid insults, avoid profanity, avoid chest-puffing arguments. Even if the officer is rude, even if you believe the stop is unfair, even if your rights truly are being violated. Emotional reactions are understandable, but strategic calm protects you better than anger. And remember this carefully. Not every bad police encounter is illegal, and not every legal police action feels fair. The law is complicated. Facts matter. States differ. Federal and state rules may overlap differently depending on the situation. So this video is educational information, not personal legal advice. But the framework you're learning today is widely recognized as the safest approach during many police encounters. Stay calm. Do not physically resist. Do not consent to searches you do not want. Clearly